Hi everyone, welcome to Raise to Rise podcast, a place where we discuss bite-sized wisdom nuggets with easy-to-follow practices to live a better life. Raise to Rise podcast is supported by Ayurvedic Seva. Ayurvedic Seva is an herbal dietary supplement line set out to change the industry by dedicating the company to quality, safety, and holistic approach on making the wellness journey safe, healthy, and natural. If you want to start adding some natural herbs in your life, then head over to ayurvedicseva.com and use our promo code RAISE2RISE for 30% discount. Once again, it's ayurvedicseva.com and use our promo code RAISE2RISE for 30% discount. I am your host, Mital Patel, a parenting junkie, Ayurveda enthusiast, and an advocate of conscious living. When your toddler throws a tantrum in public, what do your parents do? I'm sure the first thing that comes in your head is like, oh, not again. What are these people going to think about me? Then we try to shush our kids saying, can you stop it? You're annoying. Everybody's looking at us. As if that soul really needs to hear all this. At least that's what I was doing. Until I moved the flashlight within me and paid attention to my kids' emotions instead of others. About nearly 6 months ago, my little one started throwing tantrums and screaming in public in the grocery stores and in the library. And first, I was annoyed because my older son never did anything like this. And I didn't know how to react, and I didn't know how to respond to this and what to do about this. So I began asking myself, what do I do? How do I go through this phase of my life? And it's so funny how universe works for us. In response, universe showed me the Conscious Parent book by Dr. Shefali, which has been in my phone and my Kindle for a while now. And I just started shuffling through. Ended up on the chapter, I don't even remember what chapter it was, but where she mentions about tantrums. And she says when a toddler bites something it isn't supposed to or throws a tantrum, we need to bring their focus to this and say, no, this isn't okay. While doing this, we might end up saying no constantly, but that's okay. Although it's absolutely necessary for us parents to remind ourselves to be gentle with them because they are still in their innocent stage, yet we do need to start preparing them. So then I started noticing my son's patterns as my coach Jay Shetty teaches to look out for the patterns for everything, whether in making decisions, human behavior, relationships. So here I started applying the same learning in my parenting. And what I noticed is that he's frustrated and mad because he's not able to communicate. So I started talking to him. As soon as I see him throwing toys and screaming at his brother, I just go to him, I hug him, and I tell him it's okay. I know you are mad, but Mama's here for you. She knows you're in pain. And I just give him a kiss and it just calms him down. And I realized that behind a tantrum, it's the frustration and the message of, Mama, help me, I'm miserable. And so looking at tantrums from a deeper level and emotional vocabulary helped me understand my child better. And in short, I learned an important lesson that each child is different and requires different way of dealing with their emotions. But this wasn't the end. As I'm a parenting junkie and a nerd, I wanted to look at this from an Ayurvedic perspective as well. So then I looked into dosha analysis and see if my toddler is out of balance for his predominant dosha due to the seasonal transition. And so I want to share what I found in my learnings to see if that would help you out parents there deal with your toddler's tantrums. So let's look at the tantrums closely to see what's behind the surface. So if Vata dosha is out of balance, tantrum might look like hyperactivity, emotional, they're anxious, nervous, and fearful. If Pitta dosha is out of balance, the tantrum might look like irritable, angry, impatient, critical, they're being jealous, and they might also show some obsessive compulsive behavior. Now, if Kapha dosha is out of balance, the tantrum might look like being stubborn and a bit of lazy. Now, these individuals whose predominant dosha is Kapha are least likely to burst out. They're kind of chilled, calm, so they just go into their laziness mode. So these were some of the tantrum examples that are under the surface and they're hiding behind the doshic imbalances. And now that we know which dosha is responsible for the tantrums, let's see where do they possibly derive from. So if Vata is out of balance, it might be due to overstimulation, irregular routine, or exposure to cold and windy weather like the one we're going through currently. And it also could be from traveling. If Pitta imbalances, they might be from overheating, thirst, hunger, and which leads to tantrum. If Kapha is imbalanced, then it could possibly from too little activity, lack of mental stimulation, or it could be lack of regular exercise. And so these are some of the doshic observations I did with my son and found out that he's experiencing Vata imbalances. And so I started doing some regular Abhyanga for him. Abhyangas are oil body massages and using warm sesame oils for him because he was going through Vata imbalances. And initially, he also used to eat fresh homemade unsweetened applesauce, which I made with cinnamon. Now, he doesn't like that anymore because he's going through his picky eaters phase at the moment, and I'm letting him enjoy this time of being picky sometimes. So I don't force him because he's doing much better after, all the hugs and the kisses and the talks that we're doing. Even my son knows how to deal with his tantrums. So it's been working great for us. And so I just wanted to share what worked for me. Now, it doesn't have to work for you, but I just wanted to share and see if you can gain anything from my learnings and if you can benefit. So from today's episode, I want to hear from you. Where do you find yourself on the spectrum? Because this applies for mommies and daddies and brothers and sisters, for all the adults as well. Because we throw bigger tantrums in compared to our kids. Really. And remember, our balance overflows our home and family. So keep tuning in with your mind and body. Let me know what tantrums are you going through, which of these doshas you're experiencing out of balance. Try to find a spiritual solution. Give yourself the love that you need. Try to go for the self-care and see where it leads you. So till then, tune in. Thank you. Thanks for listening to Raise to Rise podcast. We would absolutely love to hear your thoughts about today's episode. Please let me know you have listened to this episode and fill me with your aha moment. Share it on Instagram, tag me with hashtag Raise to Rise or at Raise to Rise, and I would love to share those to my stories and shout you out there. I would also love if you can subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. It's our brand new podcast launch, and we have some bonus giveaways going on for the top raters and reviewers. Also, I would love to send you my 7-day parenting journal absolutely for free. All you gotta do is leave me a review in the iTunes store, take a screenshot, and email it over at raisetorisepodcast@gmail.com. Again, take a screenshot of the review and email me at raisetorisepodcast@gmail.com, and I will send you the 7-day parenting journal absolutely for free. Thank you so much for being the active listener of this podcast. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you for raising your consciousness and rising as joyful beings.